Good afternoon, everybody. Well, I was just thinking about what the difference is between, or what we've been told, bullying, what bullying really is, or is it gang stalking? Interesting. I'm going to look back on my life as far as elementary school, being bullied by a particular girl. Um, and ending up with stitches in my knee. And not only me, it happened to my brothers also. A lot of it has to do with you think or you're told that supposedly it's they're a bully or whatever, and then you say to yourself, "My God, I mean, how many times can this happen? One situation after the next." And so you try to fit in so you don't get bullied, or try to do the right thing. And even when you do the right thing, something else comes right at you. But you're told, a lot of different things that really aren't always the truth. But looking back, I can see that gang stalking is a big thing. It happens to probably most everyone. Not being pointed out that way, though, when you're going through it, or not being told that's what it is. The gang stalking, the targeted individuals, being watched, feeling paranoid because somebody's watching you. Oh no, you're paranoid. Even your parents can tell you're paranoid, that this one's watching you, or that one, is after you. And what I've learned when I've had kids is that whatever they tell me, I take for truth. I don't poo poo it. And I've helped them through it because my kids have experienced it also. So, looking back, you try to put the pieces together, and you're not as crazy as you think you are. I mean, or that you're told anyway. Inside, this is really happening. But after a while, when people tell you that you're being paranoid, you start to believe it. And the next thing you know, you're with people, or you date people that end up telling you you're crazy. And they start gaslighting is another thing, telling you how you think, and how you are supposed to think, how you feel, along with that it has to do with also too being narcissistic, controlling. So what is that? A handler? Well, we were never told that exists either. That certain people sometimes come in your life or put in your life to basically handle you, direct you in their narrative. I've experienced it firsthand. Did I look at it that way back in the day? No. No, but it's clear. It became clear over time. The different times where I were in situations where came across being kidnapped, being ridiculed and followed, uh, all that, mind games. And to this day, when I look back, it's, yeah, you could say it's a pattern, but as time goes on, it becomes more and more real once you become aware of it. How you deal with it is another thing. I get angry and probably have dealt with it sometimes in the wrong way, and learn in a way I've had to learn to kind of push it aside and just, okay, hi, how you doing, when a helicopter goes over my house. I've got pictures of it on on video. I got one the other night. I have a girlfriend that was in her pool, skinny dipping, and one went over her house, and she jumped out of the pool when the helicopter came down. I thought that was hysterical. I thought that was hysterical. But anyway, this shit does happen. It really does happen. Uh, and I try to explain that to your kids also. The fact that the police follow my son, and think he's got drugs in the trunk and harass him when my son is like straight as an arrow, a good guy. Well, that was when he was younger in high school, but he's older now. And then my daughter being, harassed, trying to explain that, and parked, and somebody bumps into the back of her on purpose and keeps bumping her car. Just the little stuff. I mean, that's not little. It's traumatizing to them. Try to explain that to them is like, oh my God. Like, Ma, you're crazy. That's, But we're taught to look at it as it being bullied. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or things just happen. But when you look back, it's not always the case. Definitely isn't always the case. And if you're feeling those things, trust it, because it is you got to trust it, even though somebody might not believe you. You got to trust it. When things don't feel right, you know what I do? I just go the opposite way. And actually, my son learned at a young age to avoid those things too. It's not really avoid isn't the word, but just know his senses and where he should be and where he shouldn't be. And he followed it. He had no problem saying no to people. And if it was something he didn't want to do, I did do a lot of learning through him too. Because I was taught, you do everything. You have to do everything somebody asks you to do. And my daughter's a little more freer with it, though she has learned to be more discerning and aware of it. Especially this, a perfect example is what we went through a couple years ago. I had to shut my business down overnight. Didn't even know what was going on. And then next thing you know, I got the town calling me, accusing me of doing hair at home. I own a hair salon. And there's been several people. And next thing you know, I'm smeared all over the internet. Then I'm not wearing a mask. This is when we went back. And actually, I did wear a mask. I hated every friggin' minute of it, and we'll never do it again. I ended up in Shield because I ended up on the floor 3 times because I ended up getting vertigo. And those things do not work. I don't care what anybody says. They do not work. You can put 5 on them if you want, which I think they did that at one time and in a certain special time, which I'm not gonna mention. Anyway, so I was ridiculed for that. So I ended up in a Shield, which is even worse because you're banging everything. You have to wipe it down. I'm telling you, if we don't look back and go, what the hell was that era? It was like, it was crazy. I never didn't not work for 2 months ever in my life. I don't know. It's just like, and still to this day, I say, if you're comfortable wearing a mask, fine. Don't ever ask me to put one on because I'm not doing it. I will not work if that comes to that. And I don't care what gets thrown at me. It ain't happening. And I think the majority of the collective feels that way also. That it was really crimes against humanity, what was done. Taking my mother to the hospital, I couldn't even go in. Leaving people in the nursing home, looking out the window. I mean, really. I don't know how I got back on this subject with the other thing, but it was just, in other words, I was targeted the whole time. Accused of not wearing a mask. Accused of doing hair on the side. Accused, And then you have to go through those tests. I did it once because I had to. Okay, I did it because I had to. I would have had supposedly closed my business. Would I do things differently had I known now? Oh, yeah, of course I would have. I wouldn't have done it. Never had the thing, ever. I'm going to call it the thing. But anyway, whenever you're imagining things, it's not always, no wonder they mark people schizophrenic or, multiple personalities. In this world, the way things go on here, it's no wonder, but that's not the case. You got to trust your inner guidance and trust what you're feeling. It took me years to do that. Years. And now, and then I get every year since I've owned a business, I've had constant the IRS on my ass for stupid shit, or that, just constant bug, bug, bug. And I'm done with it. I'm absolutely done. I've got it going on right now. Taxes I've already paid. Okay. They want to come after me and take more taxes. Well, that ain't happening either. I do have all the paperwork on it, so they can just stick it because I'm done. I'm done with this. Okay? And I know what goes on. I know it. I know what goes on. So I'm on to that. They know I'm on to it. We all know what's going on. If you've been in the, so to speak, aware group, which I think a lot of people have been, things aren't right. But that's going to change. It's soon going to change because we are going to make the change. So you'll have a choice, yes or no. It's your choice, whatever way you want to go and whatever you want to believe. And there's no right or wrong. There's no shaming or blaming. It is what it is. Free will and a free choice of how you want to live your life. It's time because this has been no life. Not the way we really should, even though we've all chosen to come here, to learn lessons. And you can't blame this, blame that, blame this, blame that. I mean, we're all to blame. We've all taken part in the aspects of it all. But we need to take it and learn from it so it doesn't happen again. And not blame and shame people and think it's everything outside of yourself. It all comes back to the self. It all comes back to ourselves. So we need to get a big girl and big boy pants on and deal. And just deal with it. If you're gang stalked, if you're harassed, if you're targeted, okay. Then you just deal with it. All right, don't be afraid of it, don't fear it. Because that's what they do. They want to put you in fear by whipping the helicopters around or making you feel paranoid. Send the MIBs out. Though there are some MIBs out there that are, I've come across one that has been a pretty warner to me, warns me. And then, there's bad and good. So I have a little bit of both. And, but, you got to get the strength within yourself. You got to believe in yourself. Pull the strength within yourself. Okay? There's nothing to fear. The only thing that is real is love. That's my belief. And all of this is from my experiences and my beliefs. I'm not here to put anything in anybody's head. And I'm not looking to either. You need to do your own work and realize where you are in the scheme of things. No more victim. Nobody's a victim. Only if you want to be the victim. And that's kind of old, I feel. All right. I mean, I have people in my life that are, or like to tell me how I think I feel, that surround me and tell me that I like to feel the victim. Sometimes you say things because you really need to hear it. And I come back with that, well, I think that's something you really need to hear because that's not my truth. So you have to constantly remember what's your truth and what isn't and state it, whether they listen or not. But you are affirming in yourself, this is my truth. You're not one that's going to tell me what my truth is or my experiences because they are mine, no one else's. So when you find you're getting down with all those experiences, and I think that's why I went in school, I gravitated towards the kids that, were the ones that, well, I was never in a popular group anyway. I didn't care to be. I always was helping, the ones that I felt needed it or needed a little guidance, even though I always needed guidance. I'm not saying I was better than any of them by any means. We're all equal. But just to kind of, the ones that everybody would, stray away from, I would hang out with. So, and, you know, my daughter does the same thing. She gravitated towards that, and my son. So, I mean, you gotta have compassion for people too and help guide them. If they need it, don't push it. So if somebody, you're around somebody who needs it, try to do the best you can to give them words of wisdom. You can't do the work for them, but you can be there as kind of hold the energy of the light for them. So anyway, I'm sure there's a lot more I can go on this topic, but I'm sure you've listened to enough of my rant for today. I hope you all have a good afternoon and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.